Oh, let's not get too complicated, you know. I'm trying to run a money-losing business here. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm actually serious in the fact that I'm a lawyer. I'm going to try to synthesize the topic in a fun way to see if everybody understands. I'm basically using you guys as like a guinea pig jury, okay? All right, can we get it? All right, okay. So in today's class, we're gonna learn what a monopsony is. Does anybody know what a monopsony is? No? No, that's monopoly. That's actually very close. This is great. A monopsony is a buy-side monopoly. So like Monopoly, like the board game. When you play Monopoly, you know towards the end, everything gets so expensive, all the other players get wiped out of the market, right? Because one person owns everything, nobody can afford anything. A monopoly is a sell-side entity. A monopsony is what happens when a monopoly is on the buy side, okay? So it occurs when there's one single entity in a particular market that has particular market dominance and buying power, okay? Let me give you an example. Let's say I go to my wife and I say, honey, I want to start an OnlyFans. She says, okay, but you can only sell your photos to me. I go, okay, fine, I'm starting my OnlyFans. I'm charging $100 a photo. She's gonna laugh and say, there's no way I'm gonna pay $50 an inch. And let's be real, it's at least $33 an inch, you know? But she retorts and she says, okay, I'll pay you $5 for your photo. In this particular instance, I'm in the OnlyFans market, but I can only sell to one person. That one person can set the price of what they're gonna buy at because they're the only one I can sell to, right? So in this particular situation, my wife, and that's actually a picture of my wife, is a monopsonist, okay? Let's go to example 2. So, example 2, I go to my wife and I say, hey honey, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans. She says, okay, but the only people that you can sell your OnlyFans photo to is me and my identical clones. Now, when I was creating this hypothetical, I almost said other women, but I only have 2 inches to spare, and I like, yeah. So my wife has 5 identical clones, each equally as beautiful, and I go to her and I say, okay, great. I can sell to you and the clones. $100 a photo. She then goes back to the clones and says, all right, girls, here's the deal. We're gonna tell him that we're only going to buy the photos for $5. They have created a monopsonist cartel, okay? Okay, are we following? All right, next example. Example 3. In example 3, OnlyFans Tom is not OnlyFans Tom. He is Engineer Tom. He is specifically a rocket scientist, a rocket engineer. I don't know what they do. That sounds really smart, but he's a rocket scientist. And my wife is a rocket scientist employer, okay? This is particularly relevant because while my wife might not be the only person in the market, there's only a handful of companies in the world that can meaningfully employ rocket scientists, right? Like Walmart isn't gonna employ rocket scientists. It's gonna be SpaceX, NASA, Lockheed Martin. There's only a handful of them, okay? So I go to my wife and I say, hey, wife/rocket scientist employer, I want a job. I wanna be making $150,000 a year. She responds, okay, let me go check the market data. She then goes to her fellow colleagues, the rocket scientist cartel, and she says, okay, gang, what are we paying rocket scientists? They say we're paying $100,000, right? Are we following? So my wife comes back and says, sorry, we can't pay you $150,000. We can pay you $100,000 because that's what the market commands. And I can't go shop or have leverage in that negotiation because the other 4 meaningful rocket scientist employers all pay $100,000 because they're all sharing data with each other in an anti-competitive market. Because if it was truly a competitive market, then they wouldn't share labor data and labor would rise, right? If it was a bidding war for the top talent, rather it's an artificial depression of the market. This is a labor market monopsony. Are we following? Is this somewhat entertaining? It might not be funny, but is it interesting? Okay. Example 4. Now, OnlyFans Tom is a farmer, specifically an egg farmer, okay? And my wife is Rachel-Mart. She's the single largest buyer of eggs in the country, okay? That's her store, Rachel-Mart. I go to her, I say, okay, hey, Rachel-Mart, you're going to pay me $1 an egg. She says, no. I say, no problem. I'm going to go to the market. I go to the market participants. I say, okay, hey, everybody, I'm trying to sell my eggs for $1. And we have a buyer. Specifically, Red Hat Rachel, which is Rachel-ese, right? She says, I'll buy your eggs for $1. I go, okay, great. In response, Rachel-Mart comes back to me and says, okay, you're right. Not only am I going to pay you $1, I'll pay you $1.25, but you have to buy I get to buy all of your eggs. I have no problem with that. I just wanted $1. Now you're paying me $1.25. Rachel-Mart also goes to all the other Toms in the market and inks the same deal. All right, so year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, all of the other market competitors get out of the market because I'm only selling to Rachel-Mart. So now I have nobody to sell my eggs to. Rachel-Mart then comes to me and says, hey, 25 cents an egg. I say, no, I'll go shop the market. I can get a better price elsewhere. But I can't because all of the other egg buyers are out of the market. Okay? Are we following? Yeah. All right. So I have no choice. As egg farmer Tom, I have to sell for 25 cents an egg or I go out of business.
Go vertical, bud.
So you're saying I, as an egg farmer, open up Buc-ee's as my poor egg farmer self. This is good. I mean, this is exactly the kind of feedback that I want. Is the average egg farmer going to have that capacity to do it? Probably not. That's my feeling too. So this is what we call an agricultural monopsonist. Next, Rachel-Mart's going to claim, hey, we get the cheapest eggs. This is good for the consumer, right? Well, the consumer price of the egg is going to go from $1 to $2 to $3 to $4 to $5. And that statement that it is still the cheapest egg is still accurate. And the reason for that is because there's no other competition in the market, right? Because Tom can't sell his eggs to Buc-ee's or whoever. And so there's no price competition at the other level. So my question is, do you punish Rachel-Mart? Because this is very similar to a case that I'm working on. Tariff, they're internal. This is internal. This is an internal issue. If you're on a jury and Rachel-Mart saying, I'm a capitalist enterprise, this is just capitalism. Or do you say, hey, is that anti-competitive? Is this a violation of the Sherman Act or the Clayton Act, antitrust? No? No meaningful feedback? I told you this was an experiment. You're getting your shot. Don't worry, you know?
My answer is still go for it. I don't think you punish her.
You don't punish Rachel-Mart. Okay?
You have to get rid of these monopolies. That's what's destroying this nonsense. It's happening with electricity companies.
That's
to deal with here and NBU here in New Braunfels and get rid of these.
right. So if you have exactly.
Get out of here. You want to make America fucking great again? You get rid of them.
That's what.
Bitch, greedy bastards.
And monopsony. So you have a new word now. Okay, this is interesting. This is the feedback that I'm totally gauging y'all's faces too. Even if you're not responding, I'm just trying to get some details. Yes.